Hey, Mr. Random Pop Culture News Figure, aka Mr. Manny Wolverine. You guys are wrestling out your channel. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and of course, follow me at AOL symbols and hashtag symbols. Anyways, Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, Sarah Bond. I guess they're all going to talk. I didn't get a time to do this because I still had to fucking work, even though I was replying for a sick day. But hopefully Friday, Saturday, I get that sick day. So, I think tomorrow I'll be able to take the day off. But hopefully Saturday I'll be able to do some videos. If not, I'm probably going to have to go back and get my more extra prescription shit. I don't know. I'm not trying to get into personal business. Updating Xbox. Let's just jump into it. Let's see all the jargon, business jargon shit they're going to talk about. Because, not to get too tied off on track, but it's some wild shit. It really is some wild ass shit because I just finished watching this old show from 2018 to 2022. It's called Secessions. The dude had freaking... The only two I knew on there was Rory Culkin, Jeremy Strong, three of them. Jeremy Strong and Brian Cox. The same dude last month that did the Mortal Kombat Tekken thing. The Tekken freaking announcement. I know it's old now, but let's jump into it. Let's just hear what they got to say. I haven't heard Phil Spencer one. I'm not an Xbox hardcore fanboy either. I'm just saying. Let's see all the business jargon they're talking about. I'm not going to be able to say much of it. But who knows what goes behind closed doors. We'll see what updates they got for
Hello,
Xbox
and
fans.
welcome to the official Xbox podcast.
I'm here. I was a former Sony fanboy. And I was a hardcore Nintendo fanboy, too. I still like being a Nintendo fan sometimes. But
host Tina Amini, and we have a very special episode today, as you can probably tell by the fact that I'm joined by Phil, Sarah, and Matt. Welcome. And we're going to talk about some updates at Xbox. We want to talk about game exclusivity. We want to talk about Activision Blizzard, now that they're part of our portfolio, how that might be an impact on Game Pass. And we want to talk about hardware, too, and how all of this fits into
That's how they're going to sell out to everything, man. Sony and Nintendo are probably going to do... Nintendo probably might do it 2031, 2034, because they're the slowest on technology, but whatever.
At Xbox. So where should we start, Phil?
Well, when we originally had planned for the show, starting back in December...
I know.
I think we probably would have started with Activision Blizzard. Maybe talked a little bit about the exclusivity with some of the news coming up, and then hardware.
I might get the haircut.
But we've had some unforeseen news that has come out. So let's just go and tackle the exclusivity question, because I know it's on the minds of a lot of people. We hear from the community. That's an important input for us. So we made the decision that we're going to take 4 games to the other consoles. Just 4 games. Not a change to our kind of fundamental exclusive strategy. It is, we're making these decisions for some specific reasons. We make every decision really with the long-term health of Xbox in mind. And long-term health of Xbox means...
I have no idea what that means. I get more money in their pockets, make people freaking pay more extra money. They can, not all of them, not trying to make this political, because fucking food and gas and freaking goddamn, what's it called? Not just food and gas, but freaking electricity's high as hell.
It's a growing platform, our games performing, building the best platform for creators, reaching as many players as we can. We're always looking to learn as a leadership team and to grow. And we think this is an interesting point in time for us to use what some of the other platforms have right now to help grow our franchises. So we're going to do that.
So these 4 titles, what are they? Can you say?
I'm not going to name those games. The teams that are building those games have announced plans that are not too far away. As we know, game teams put a lot of energy into their announcements with the partners. So I don't want to take anything away from those teams. So I won't be talking about the titles specifically, but I think when they come out, it'll make sense.
Can we say if either of those titles are Starfield or Indiana Jones?
They are not Starfield or Indiana Jones.
Well, what was the criteria and how the team was thinking about selecting those 4 titles?
Let me start a little bit outside of that, and then I'll get to the 4 specific games that we're talking about right now. Because the fundamental decision driver for any decision that we make, anything we're going to talk about today, is the long-term health of Xbox. That we're running a growing platform that is reaching more players, that our games are having as much success as possible. And I do have a fundamental belief that over the next 5 or 10 years, exclusive games that are exclusive to one piece of hardware are going to be a smaller and smaller part of the game industry. And that's...
I bet. The way technology and AI, artificial intelligence, chat GPT taking over everything, that shit wouldn't fucking goddamn surprise me. They want small linear stuff. I mean, they're a $1 trillion company. Not even a $1 billion company. $1 trillion company. If you've been following Xbox news shit for like more than 10 plus years, like 14, 15 years, Like, I thought you guys would know that. Let's go.
Not some great insight, because if you look at the last 10 years and what the biggest games are today, it's a natural place. Whether it's one console and PC, multiple consoles, mobile console and PC, you see big games landing on multiple platforms. And we want to be a great platform for creators that are trying to realize that potential. But now back to the specifics of the question on these four specific titles. We looked at games that are over a year old, so they've been on Xbox and PC for a while. A couple of the games are community-driven games, new games, that kind of first iterations of a franchise that have reached their full potential, let's say, on Xbox and PC. There's always growth. Franchises that we obviously want to continue to invest in. Part of having the ability to continue to invest is that the businesses behind those franchises continue. We think it's important that these service-based games that have communities behind them, that they can have confidence that they're going to exist in the future. So two of them, kind of community-driven games that will end up on other platforms and give us the ability to continue to invest in them. We think that's great for the business and great for the communities, more players to play with. I'd say two of the other games are smaller games that were never really meant to be built as kind of platform exclusives and all the fanfare that goes around that, but games that our teams really wanted to go build, that we love supporting creative endeavors across our studios regardless of size. And as they've realized their full potential on Xbox and PC, we see an opportunity to utilize the other platforms as a place to just drive more business value out of those games, allowing us to invest in maybe future iterations of those, so sequels to those, or just other games like that in our portfolio. And when we don't damage Xbox and we can grow our business using what other platforms have and to help us with that, we're going to do that. And that's really the story behind these four games. And last thing I'll say, looking forward, I think there is an interesting story for us of introducing Xbox franchises to players on other platforms to get them more interested in Xbox. We think there's a good brand.
All the Sony, Microsoft, and Steam fanboys and fangirls, they might want to jump on the Xbox Microsoft exclusively. Who knows? That utilize word? I don't know. It's kind of like a scary weapon word to me.
Value for Xbox.
My own personal opinion, of course.
There. So 4 games, no promise beyond that. So if you're on those other platforms and you see these 4 games coming, please don't take it as some signal that everything's coming. It's not. And we're going to learn.
So when you are thinking about the future and this concept of live service games, games that can benefit from bigger audiences, new audiences, how does that apply to future titles and how you're applying that criteria there?
Yeah, there's really no fundamental change to how we think about exclusivity. We just came out of Developer Direct, which was an awesome show where we showed great games that are coming to Xbox and PC and cloud, which really makes them accessible to hundreds of millions of people. So it's this kind of, we're really focused on a couple platforms and what's going to show up there. But our key of play the games you want with the people you want, anywhere you want, when everybody plays, we all win. These have been part of our strategy for years and will continue to be. Our focus is on how do we continue to grow the games industry by reaching more players in more places, and how do we grow Xbox as part of that. Xbox is a hardware platform, Xbox is a publisher of great games, and Xbox as a platform for the world's best creators.
And then knowing that, how do we think about our first-party games and Game Pass?
Yeah, well, to build on what Phil just said, one thing I would add...
The man that's made out memes because of his last name, the Matt Booty guy.
You were talking about growth. It's just...
little name, Matt Booty.
We've sort of seen this inversion over the last 5 years where it used to be that the platform was the biggest thing.
That's right.
And the games would sort of tuck in within the platform. Today, big games like a Roblox or a Fortnite could actually be bigger than any one platform. And
that's personally Gen Z. The only way you're a millennial that's still playing freaking Roblox and Fortnite is if you got a smaller kid audience and you're doing it for the cash to grab the coin. And pretty much you're doing money or profit. You probably don't give a shit about your fans or subscribers. It's actually Twitch streamers. A lot of them really don't give a rat's ass about their fan base. They just want to keep growing, collecting more bags, more Amazon gift subs. Thanks for this, thanks for that. Parasocial relationship, my personal opinion, is worse over there compared to YouTube. That's just me being biased. TikTok, don't even start with that.
That really has changed the way that we think about things. So in the midst of all that, I think we at First Party can come back to sort of some core principles. First, that all of our games will be on the Xbox platform. Second, all of our games will go into Game Pass on day one. And third, we know that Game Pass will only be available on Xbox. So there's sort of starting points for us. As Phil mentioned, there are games today that you can play that only can be found on Xbox. And at the same time, we want to bring more of our games to more players. So we're going to continue to look at that. Kind of moving aside, though, from some of those and thinking more about what does it really mean for the player, to me, the two key things are cross-play and cross-save. Those things allow us to deliver on the promise of Xbox, which is play with your friends where they are, play on the devices you want, play the games you want. So that is really only possible at a practical level when you know that your saves and your player are going to be able to move across all those parts. So not all of our games today are necessarily built to take advantage of that. There still will be some games that don't. As we bring more teams into the Xbox family, there's some catch up to do as we get there. But that cross-play, cross-save is like so fundamental to what we're doing, and I think is something that we as First Party get such a good benefit from being so close to the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things, like you said, all of our games are always in Game Pass. And so I'm excited to announce, with the coming together that we had with Activision Blizzard King, that Activision and Blizzard games are coming to Game Pass, starting with Diablo 4 on March 28th, which I'm super, super excited to share today. And it's all part of our commitment to make the Xbox experience and the games that we build as widely available as possible. So now the 34 million Game Pass members can all enjoy the fantastic experience of Diablo 4.
Amazing. Can we come back to the point, Phil, you mentioned at the top, this isn't really a change in strategy for us. Can you recap for me how it isn't?
Yeah, and I thought both Matt and Sarah did a really nice job of talking about what we're doing on Xbox, where we're going. If you take a platform feature like Xbox Play Anywhere, which has been a promise that we've made on our first party games, that you can buy our game once, you're going to get play across Xbox and Windows. I think we're the only platform that does this. That makes it possible for you not only to play with your friends wherever they are, but to know that you actually have multiple entitlements to the games. I think that's a technology I'd love to see applied to more platforms. But it is...
my personal opinion, they're going to be the first to go all digital. I honestly thought it would have been Amazon. I'm surprised because Amazon Luna ended up being a thing. Like, I know they tried to copy off a lot of shit like they did with the Google, the rest in peace one. That shit's dead now, Google Stadia. I'm not saying Microsoft's going to end up being dead in the water, but give it a couple years. And then most of the ninth generation, they don't want that shit. They want the physical old school shit. You can call me an old head all you want. I don't care. I know John Alpha, they're already so glued to their tablets, so glued to every freaking goddamn device that there are. VR headsets, AR headsets, and all the other ones, the smartphone ones. They're already like getting used to a future and a way of life that, they don't want to own nothing. Like, they don't want nothing to be happy. That's the freaking thing I don't like, man. They're only going all pure digital. I just went to my local Walmart. Most of the shit's all digital. They still sell vinyls once in a while in the neighborhood Walmart, but the regular super place Walmarts are gone. They're all digitized. That's what they want to do. Be on the grid forever. You want them on independence. Look what happened to freaking Funimation last week. I didn't do a video on it, but Funimation, they went all pure digital. All the subscription services they had to all these shows, like freaking the original Dragon Ball series, Pokemon series, SpongeBob, and all that. All those freaking accounts that these people had, that's all gone. It got pulled under the rug from them, and then they can never physically have that tangibility of a DVD, Blu-ray ever again. I get it. Some people are real poor and they can't afford those. I get it. From my heart, I feel for them now. It sucks, but let's move on.
This view that people are going to play Xbox in multiple places. Whether it's play the games you want with the people you want, anywhere you want, whether it's content community and cloud, whether it's when everybody plays, we all win. Like, we've had different taglines, different strategy.
I don't like it. It's all just pure tablets, all pure VR and pure smartphones, man. They'll never know what a physical arcade freaking controller is ever.
Words that we've used, but always with this view that Xbox is a platform for creators who want to reach the most players. our investments in xCloud, our investments in franchises like Minecraft and now Call of Duty and other large franchises so that we learn how to build those. This has been a strategy that we've been on for, I'd say, a decade. It's not about one device. It's not about games in service of a device, but rather the devices that people want to play on should be in service of making the games as big and popular as they possibly could be. Because really a healthy creator community on Xbox, a healthy creator community in gaming all up is the thing that all of us as game players should be voting for, because that's the thing that will lead to the best long-term success and growth in this industry.
And my understanding just from listening and learning from you three over the past few weeks, just understanding what's happening with Xbox, is that we see trends with player behavior where people are playing on multiple devices. That is the reality. And we have put some games out on multiple platforms before. So my understanding is that that's been good for players. How does that come back to the business with all of that in mind?
Yeah, as you said, we have shipped games on other platforms. In fact, realistically, if you look with the addition of Activision and Blizzard and ZeniMax, we're one of the largest game publishers on PlayStation.
I forgot they own ZeniMax too.
One of the largest
2.5, 3 years ago. It's wild.
Publishers on the Nintendo Switch, especially when you put Minecraft into the equation as well. And now we're one of the largest publishers on mobile platforms as well. And that's not something that we want to back away from. We want to continue to be building great games that millions and millions of people can love, and that they can play those games where they want to go play. But we do understand the business success that Xbox has to have. Us as leaders in this business, the system today, the system that all companies that we play video games from, is a world of you got to be growing your business. Growth in our Xbox business is critical to the long-term health of Xbox. Many people know I've been on Xbox for over 20 years, and I want to make sure Xbox is
hardcore Xbox fanboys and fangirls. I grew up with that shit for 20 plus years. I only grew up with that one 360, and after I was done with Xbox 360, never touched my hand with an Xbox console again. I swear I'm not hedging allegiance to Nintendo and Sony too, because they're all billionaires and trillionaire CEOs only care about money, profit, and materialism, wealth. And I know they don't give a rat's ass about me. I know Mr. Sator, the late and great Satoru Iwata, or Shigeru Miyamoto, or freaking the other dudes like freaking Yoshida, Shigeru Mishida, and the other dude that used to be a damn something. They don't give a rat's ass about me as a fanboy on PlayStation 1. I just like their games, and that's it. Some of their games.
The best position for the next 20 years. That means healthy player community, healthy creator community, and healthy business. So when we look at opportunities to allow more people to play, more people engage, more people to buy, more people to subscribe, it's all about putting Xbox in the best position. And our hardware is a critical component of that. The absolute best experience somebody has on Xbox is hardware that your team builds and that people play on. But that's not going to be everybody. We fully accepted that we're going to have Xbox players across all kinds of devices.
So I think a lot of people think about 2023 as this incredible year for gaming. And in a lot of ways it was. There were some really amazing releases that I think we all enjoyed. But what were the signals behind the scenes that maybe indicated how we wanted to look at the future of Xbox and how we kind of keep up with the industry?
Yeah, such a good question. And I think it's, as people who care about the industry, which I assume is people who are watching this, it was an amazing year. Some great launches, some of the games that I think will stand the test of time and people will be talking about a decade from now. But it's an industry that didn't really grow. And what happens when an industry doesn't grow? You end up with some job eliminations, which we had. We had even our own hard decisions to make about building a sustainable...
Oh, I was going to mention the Blizzard Activision layoffs. There was so many freaking layoffs the past 4 years ever since they joined up. Activision Blizzard, man. He's gonna break it down. See if he has sympathy for the people. As a human beings, that's effed up. Because after that other demon antichrist mother effer Bobby Kotick was done, F that fool, man. Full of shit. Is Phil Spencer gonna be full of crap? Give sympathy to
for ourselves, but in no way were we alone in that. When you think about a healthy industry, I want players who believe that they will find the best games on the platforms that they love. I want people who invest their careers in working here to feel like this is a place that they can be successful. And that really is down to being part of an industry that is growing. If you listen to Lisa Su, the AMD CEO, she'll say that AMD-powered consoles are likely to decline in 2024. I think there's an amazing set of games coming in 2024, but if we don't get to growing as an industry, the industry will struggle. And today there's really two choices on how do you grow the industry. Do you say I have a fixed number of players, the players that we have today, and do I find new ways to monetize those players to get more money from the players that I have? Or do you think about
monetization is a very, very, very good thing for building a 1.5 10 million plus subscriber giant YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, all the other social media platforms. That's what they care about, numbers and shit.
Do I expand the business I have by finding new players and adding those to the base of players that already play? Our focus on Xbox for the last decade has really been on that latter point of how do we make sure Xbox is growing for our players, growing for our creators. So those people are finding success on our platform, which will grow the Xbox business and put Xbox in a position to be very strong for years and decades to come.
Better make sure that thing's strong as a fort. I'm just saying, Philly.
Earlier, you were talking about these growing gaming communities, how they're incredibly large, and comparable on such a different level when we think about console audiences. Like you mentioned Roblox, you mentioned Fortnite. So how are we're obviously thinking about our responsibility, our hardware responsibility is supporting the growth of gaming communities. How has that actually shown up for the players? Are there other games we can speak to from our portfolio?
Well, as Phil mentioned, two of the biggest ones for us, Call of Duty and Minecraft, they are driven just from the bottom up by the communities of people that play those games, which is so great. I think
it's so crazy to think that Gen Z, they're like all grown adults now. Some of them are already grown-ass adults in their late teens, early mid-20s. And a lot of them grew up hardcore in Minecraft. That's their version of what, and especially Roblox. I didn't grow up on Roblox because I was like, 26, 27 when I first heard about that. I was already an old-ass, dingy old man when I first heard about Roblox. That's their version of what it was for me for like GTA, freaking Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, Digimon, Tenchi Muyo, anime stuff, Fullmetal Alchemist, Inuyasha, freaking not Jujutsu Kaisen, Yu Yu Hakusho, and freaking FMA. Fooly Cooly was for me. That's why.
Think about it, for the player community, it comes down to where are the friends, where are the people you play with, and then equally important is where have you built up your library of games, right? Where have you invested? Where's that library? I think those two things probably are some of the biggest influences on where people choose to play and what devices they choose to play.
Yeah.
When we think about, on the other side, the developer side, just any game developer wants their game to find the biggest audience possible. That's just the nature of building a game. You want people to enjoy and participate in what you've made. And I think we're in a unique position to deliver on that just because we are the platform. We build hardware, we've got a first-party games group, and then we've got a system that ties that together, that brings together your friends, your progression, your achievements, all of that. And I think that's really what has contributed to the momentum behind some of these communities.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at, just step back and you look at the history of the industry, we've move from a place where it used to be that someone built and launched a game to accelerate hardware to actually the things we do with our hardware and with our platform are all in service of making those games bigger. And we think about that across all of the investments we make, the consoles we build, the investments we do with things like crossplay, cross-progression, the things that we're doing with...
Yeah, crossplay, cross-progression, that's a very, very big keynote there. Because... in the future, by the time 2030 beyond's a thing, there might not be no video game consoles ever again. It might be all purely on the cloud. Like, physical, like, stuff might cost. It might not even be that anymore. It might be playing on a hologram, freaking, like, just an AR and VR, and that's it. That's crazy the way the future is. So I'm probably not going to be a hardcore gamer no more after that.
Cloud. How do we actually give more options to game creators so they can have the greatest success? I think one of the fun recent examples about this is actually Power World. Power World was able to launch. They were a game preview. They launched in Game Pass.
That got way blew up in popularity, big time fame earlier this month, late last
also
month.
Simultaneously launched in Steam. And through the combination of those things, Pocket Pair was able to have this outsized success, and it was the largest third-party Game Pass launch ever. And that's all because we give creators options on how they can launch their games. We've got subscription, we've got retail, we've got free-to-play, we've got game preview. We have the consoles, we have our experience on PC, and they can access all of those things. And when we step back and we just look at the performance of our platform all up, we know it's working.
Every freaking console has accessibilities for their own exclusive content, like things. Exclusive, like, freaking titles. But then I heard a shit ton of rumors that a lot of their Xbox stuff is mainly going to PS5 Pro. Crazy ass rumor, take it with a grain of salt. Wouldn't be surprised it's real.
We're at the highest level of users on console, the highest level of users on PC, the highest level of users on cloud ever. We have double-digit growth rate on PC and cloud, places where we're enabling creators to actually reach new players beyond the console ecosystem. And that's why we're leaning into it and doing more, because we see all those signals.
So we're talking about the role that hardware plays for creators, for the games and those communities. What about the role that hardware plays for us as a business, for Xbox?
When we look at our hardware, it really is, and Phil said this earlier, it's where you get like the most flagship seminal experience of Xbox. And it also represents a developer target. Our developers can build the specs of our hardware, and we invest to make sure they know when they do that the games are going to go great on our hardware, but they're also going to be able to be accessed across any screen because of all the other investments we make. So we're giving them an easy way to access as many players as possible. And we actually have more creators right now building for Xbox than ever before, by nature, thousands of them, by nature of those investments. And we got more to come. There's some exciting stuff coming out in hardware that we're going to share this holiday. And we're also invested in the next generation roadmap. And what we're really focused on there is delivering the largest technical leap you will have ever seen in a hardware generation, which makes it better for players and better for creators and the visions that they're building.
And then when we're talking about hardware too, there's these other considerations that are really important to our community, probably to each one of ourselves as well. When you talk about library, because I want to dig in on that a little bit more. You know, as we talk about cloud in the wider entertainment industry, there's conversations about streaming. How is that impacting how I own my content that I've invested in? So what can we say about our stance around game preservation?
Yeah, you know, one of the highlights for me of being in this position was getting to stand on stage when we announced back compat coming to Xbox One. Like, it was fantastic. People were reading the teleprompter before I could read it. Slow reader, and just feeling the energy in the auditorium as we were saying that and online. You know, one of the cues I think
feeling it's a whole other different thing online. You gotta have parasocial relationship with that.
Just being part of Microsoft take is looking at Windows. And how Windows over decades has maintained software compatibility with things that are built on it. Like, I can still go back and play some of the games that I love playing on Windows from decades ago, and it will still run. And we try to bring that same view to consoles. It's harder in console because the line between what the hardware is and what the game is in consoles is traditionally, it's tighter, which makes compatibility, you end up doing these generational compatibilities that we've built. But I will say compatibility, the ability to not only play the games, but my saves are still there with our cloud save systems to try to keep the services up as long as we can so that people can play is a tenet of what we are as Xbox. It's at our foundation. And when we look at future hardware generations and what we're going to support, making sure that we respect, which is the word I use, respect the investments that people have made in Xbox going forward.
I'm not even an Xbox fanboy, but you Xbox old heads, not trying to make this a countable thing, you better hope to God you get respect and loyalty from this dude. I highly doubt it. Dude's probably a billionaire on a lot. I'm just kidding. Just saying, but he could be. I really hope he pleases his fans, because if he screws them over and just feeds them their brown shirts, how it goes for the Xbox fan guys and fangirls.
Is fundamental. And the fact that you get entitlements when you buy a game from us on both Windows and Xbox also means you have the ability to play that game across a multitude of devices, which I think furthers the compatibility of the games that you own.
Can we go back to what Xbox stands for today? I think we've pretty much covered all of the elements, but if you could break it down for me.
You know, when you play on Xbox, what we're saying is you're playing on a platform where you know the biggest games in the world are always going to be. You're playing on a platform where you get to access Game Pass. And all of the games from our incredible range of studios will always launch in Game Pass day one. And you're playing on a platform that's dedicated to you, like player-first features, cross-play, cross-save, cross-progression, backwards compatibility, being able to play your games in your library anywhere you want because of the investments that we make in cloud gaming. And so you're playing somewhere where you're investing and you know you get to take the games forward with you and across all of the screens where you are. And I think most importantly, Xbox is a place where you know when you're investing in Xbox, you're investing somewhere that is dedicated to making games more successful and creators more successful so that they can invest more to bring even better experiences to you all of the time.
Yeah, just that investment in the studios is so, and we feel that as part of first party with the platform proximity. You know, it's kind of amazing now to look out across all the studios we've got and just be reminded that we're now one of the biggest development organizations in the industry. What does that mean for players? it means that the biggest games are going to continue to come to Xbox. And this 2024, the year coming up, we've got more than 10 major releases coming up. Great stuff. Hellblade 2. We've got Diablo expansion. We've got Avowed, Ara, the Indiana Jones game. And there's more in development, which I think we're going to be able to share more about at our June showcase coming up pretty soon.
Well, I guess I should get ready to work on that show. Well, thank you all for showing up on the podcast today, and we'll see the rest of you this June.
Yeah. Thanks, Tina.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah, so I even got thoughts, views, and opinions. I said everything I had to say. Whether they keep their promises or not, that's totally on them. I have no freaking idea. They're going to keep their promises to fanboys and fangirls. That's it. I'm done. See you guys soon. That's all I had to say. Keep my peace.